Yo, what's good? We're back with another one.
It's showtime.
Mr. Beast just came out and said he rented the ancient Egyptian pyramids for 100 hours to shoot YouTube videos at, and everyone's freaking out about it.
We got all 3 of the pyramids of Egypt for 100 hours. I'm gonna do a video where they're gonna let me explore anywhere I want in the pyramids for 100 hours. We're gonna sleep at the pyramids all to ourselves.
Right after this clip went viral, the internet had a lot to say about this, so confused how Mr. Beast was able to pull this off, calling the Egyptian government corrupt, but others thought it was a really cool idea and are excited to see the video. So is the Egyptian government just selling to the highest bidder, or is this just one huge misunderstanding? He had to pay a small fee to film, and he was not able to sleep in or on top of the pyramids. On top of that, the Egyptologist and former Minister of Tourism stated that he's really excited for these videos to come out because it's gonna help people understand more of the history of Egypt and debunk the myth that aliens built the pyramids. Now let's move into some more negatives of this entire situation. First of all, yes, this will bring in more money to this tourism sector, but in the end, the government will take most of the money that comes in and not bring it back to the people.
Why let Mr. Beast in to debunk anything? We should have let some experts in.
Zahi won't let anyone in, bro.
We've actually met Zahi before in my video about the Sphinx, and the truth is, Zahi, despite being the most famous archaeologist in Egypt, has a known history of suppressing any new evidence that may conflict with mainstream Egyptology.
When I do archaeology, you listen to me. Shut up!
But what you need to realize is that the vast majority of mainstream Egyptology is based on ideas that are highly speculative at best, especially when it comes to the Great Pyramid. Because almost everything you've ever learned in school about it are not proven facts, but rather are unproven hypotheses based on circumstantial evidence and perpetuated by Zahi at the top of the mainstream Egyptology pyramid. See what I did there? In 1993, German engineer Rudolf Gattenbrink was inside the Great Pyramid of Giza studying an unexplored shaft in the Queen's Chamber. What's interesting about this shaft is that unlike the 2 shafts found in the King's Chamber, they don't open up to the outside. Instead, they seemingly go about 10 feet into the wall and lead to a dead end, meaning the purpose of them was still unknown. So Rudolf created a little robot that was equipped with a camera and a light small enough to fit inside of this 8-inch wide square shaft. And when they sent this robot into the tunnel, something happened that would change his life forever. Once the robot reached what was supposed to be the end of this shaft, they noticed that it kept going. But rather than continuing in a straight line, it actually ramped up at a 40-degree angle into a much longer, previously undiscovered section. And from the camera's feed, they could see that it went for another 90 yards before coming to a dead end, where the robot came up to what appeared to be a tiny limestone door with 2 copper handles embedded into it. This discovery baffled Rudolf and his team because metal has never been found anywhere else inside the Great Pyramid, which is supposed to be made entirely of limestone. And they could tell this was a door of some sort because it had a little bit of space around the edges, indicating there was likely something behind it. Was this door placed there after the pyramid was built, or was it intentionally put there to protect something? Either way, Rudolf had to know what was behind that door. That's when he asked Zahi Hawass, the Minister of Antiquities for the Egyptian government, for permission to investigate further and see what was behind the door.
We worked 2 years.
But now no longer.
No longer, no.
Why not?
But rather than giving him permission, Zahi, along with the Egyptian authorities, shut down Rudolf and his team and banned them from ever researching the site again.
Why would they ban them from doing further research?
He's hiding the truth and making money.
We will reveal many secrets for the first time to the world.
He is not joking. We will literally be ascending to the highest point inside the Great Pyramid, where less than 50 people in modern history have been.
I somehow have unrestricted access to all the Great Pyramids of Egypt.
Oh, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
We'll be going into the tombs of ancient pharaohs, places that are literally illegal to enter because they're incredibly dangerous. What if we fall?
Oh yeah, you'll definitely die.
We'll even be swimming to a secret underground tomb beneath the pyramid. We've only been granted 100 hours to explore, and we're gonna start right now.
That's the coolest way you could answer them.
This next room was the king's final resting spot.
As far as we believe, yeah.
Let's do it.
Holy crap, boys! What is this? 4,600 years ago, this chamber may have contained the king's mummified body.
This is where the pharaoh was buried.
This is what we believe is the final
resting place.
However, the portal to the underworld deep beneath the pyramids could have everything we were looking for.
This is the tomb of God Osiris, where very few humans have ever been.
What are we doing?
Yeah, what the fuck are they doing? Can't believe they rented the pyramids.
He did it because his girlfriend wanted to make a video there, bro.
With permission from the Egyptian government and my determined partner, I'm going to climb underneath the biggest pyramid in the world. Not only that, but I will also be descending 100 feet beneath the Earth's surface, accessing the cursed underwater tomb of Osiris, god of the underworld. With the help of famous Egyptologists, I'll use a secret opening to crawl inside of the Sphinx, and I will investigate countless of secret tombs filled with hieroglyphs and even human bone. My name's Tia. I'm a neuroscience graduate, and I'm about to go put my theories to the test. The subterranean chambers are strictly forbidden from the public.
I'm standing in the grand chamber of Pyramid Khufu right now.
Above us are the relieving chambers, which are completely off limits to the public. It is rumored that they contain markings, which proves that Khufu built this pyramid.
Do they show the markings?
It's just old graffiti, bro. Don't prove nothing.
We're making a journey to the top of the pyramid. This is hard.
Good, Jimmy. Good boy.
I don't know, I thought this would be much easier. What is this over here?
We are in the third chamber now. We have two under us, but the most important one are room number 3, 4, and 5. Now, room number 4.
All right, let's keep her going.
Okay, let's go.
Chamber number 4. Oh, look at this! We're about to head to the tippy top of the pyramid.
This is now my favorite video ever.
Oh my gosh. Woo! Sackhead!
Yes,
How did you do this?
I have no idea.
And just like that, we are now at the highest point inside the pyramid.
We made it, Taylor. Oh my gosh, there's so many bats in here.
This is not how I wanted the video to end. We got like 2 minutes left, or we're gonna get tired.
Jimmy, come here. This is one of the names of the gangs who built the pyramids. Haber means team, Simsu means friends, Cartouche, Hofu, Hofu.
This means the group, friends / gang of Hofu, and that was written 4,600 years ago.
Exactly.
That Zahi guy looks like a fucking lunatic.
He's a liar, bro. They're not even carved into the stone.
Another key to the mainstream hypothesis that this was once Khufu's tomb is that Khufu's name was found written multiple times on the inside walls of the Great Pyramid. But unlike most hieroglyphs that are usually carved directly into the stone, these inscriptions were literally just red paint or graffiti that someone painted on the walls potentially long after the pyramid was built. Now, I'm no Egyptologist, but if someone tags the side of a building and says Patrick James was here, does that automatically mean that I built the building? In fact, when it comes to the topic of hieroglyphs, no hieroglyphs of any kind have ever been found carved into any wall inside of the Great Pyramid, meaning that whoever built it didn't feel the need to put them there. And to take it a step further, no hieroglyphs specifically mentioning who built the pyramids, let alone how they did it, have ever been found anywhere in Egypt. To this day, the only legitimate reference to Khufu we've even found is this small statue, which may or may not actually be Khufu, and was found nowhere near the Great Pyramid. Once again, showing that these mainstream theories about the Great Pyramid of Giza are nothing more than a weak hypothesis at best.
I don't think we'll ever find out more about the pyramids.
Not while Zahi's in control.
We are now at the workman's tomb. Let's see if we can find one. And who better to show us around the workman's tomb? Once again, Dr. Zahi.
These are the tombs of the pyramid builders.
According to Zahi, this is literally where the people who built the pyramids were buried over 4,600 years ago.
In many other tombs, Jimmy, you see beautiful painting, but those people are poor.
This is so beautiful.
This man, his name is Neferfis.
Wow. And I know what you're thinking. Just because the writing on the wall says the people who built the pyramids are buried here, it doesn't actually prove that they were. And I thought the same thing until I saw this. Wait.
Is that what I'm thinking? Is that a skull? I need to ask you something because they're gonna question this. You did not put the skull here.
No. This is the exact location of the skeleton.
From 4,600 years ago.
Yes, we're not moving.
And you're letting me excavate it. Is that a spine?
We found out that all the skeleton here of men and women had stress on their back.
Okay.
Why?
Because they're moving 2-ton blocks?
Exactly. That is what the guy. Those, nothing. You not say anything.
And this is why you keep saying that aliens didn't build the pyramids, because the workers' bodies are literally here. This might be the coolest thing I've ever done. Thank you for having me do this. And tonight, we still have an insane adventure left.
I don't know how they thought letting Mr. Beast in there was going to debunk anything.
Fred Dibble thinks it did.
We have the people themselves who built the pyramids. The Egyptians have excavated, Egyptian archaeologists have excavated the tombs of the workers at Giza. And Mr. Beast goes there with Dr. Zahi Hawass. Every single worker here has pathologies, which means skeletal issues from the manual labor that they do. They all have back issues from moving these giant blocks. They all do, and they have a variety of other pathologies associated with this kind of heavy manual labor, right? And this is very different from pathologies with other work. For example, excavations of individuals that we know as ancient scribes from Egypt have a very different set of pathologies. For example, issues with their jaws from gritting their teeth or gnawing on their pencils.
I don't expect anyone to take him seriously when he dresses like Indiana Jones all the time.
He's a plant, bro. Take note of how this guy tells him not to touch the walls.
It's extremely important not to touch these walls. Do you hear me, Nolan?
Oh, loud and clear. You can stay out here. Just maybe. Hey, finger food will not touch the wall. Finger food? Where will touch her? Wall touch? Hey, Butterfingers.
Oh, yeah. I thought I had seen it all, but nothing could have prepared me for what I was about to see in this tomb. Rami actually took us to the real resting place, thought to have once held the body of King Khafre.
I see a big ceiling.
Whoa.
Dude, we're deep in this pyramid.
Here we are, the final burial chamber of King Khafre.
No, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
What the heck, bro?
What is this? Wait.
Look at the date.
The graffiti right there is the guy who discovered this tomb.
He claims they discovered this tomb, yes.
This is where the pharaoh was buried.
This is the final resting place for King Khafre.
Is it disrespectful to lay in there?
I wouldn't worry about the disrespect so much as the curse.
What does the curse do to you?
Do you want to try?
No.
All right, let's get out of here before we get cursed.
Oh my gosh. That pyramid is insane.
I can't believe they got to go in there.
They probably shouldn't have left his girlfriend in there on her own. She touched the walls.
If the pharaoh had a favorite type of food, they would literally kill that fish, they would put it in a little box or a pot, and they believed it would go to the afterlife with the pharaoh. It is crazy what the Egyptians went through just for this tomb to look the way it does. I mean, look how big this is. I can't even reach the top. Actually, this is hollow. Oh. This isn't made of stone. This was probably built after the fact. How curious. This is real. This is very hard. I'm about to exit this pyramid now, in this hallway. I'm very claustrophobic. It's very humid in here, and it's quite warm. So bear with me.
It said on the screen they built those fake stones to hide tools.
Trust me, bro. They're not hiding tools.
I think somewhere inside this pyramid, there's another chamber that we have not found yet that might have the body of the king.
You know what? In this video, we're gonna find it because we will literally be exploring from hundreds of feet below the pyramid up to the highest point in the largest ancient pyramid on Earth. That was awesome! These pyramids were so technologically advanced for their time that some credit them to a pre-Egyptian civilization, while some point to even crazier theories like alien. But Egyptologists are sure that they were built by the first Egyptians as tombs for their kings. Rami led us nearly 100 feet below the Earth's surface, deep into Khafre's pyramid. This is a place where hardly anyone in the modern world has ever been. So to be honest, we had no idea what to expect going down here.
The ancient Egyptians had cardboard.
We believe that this was the burial chamber for King Khafre for the longest time.
And now they're using it to store stuff.
The King's Tomb didn't really answer many of our questions, and if we weren't already scared enough, we then came across this.
3,000-year-old human.
Oh my god, why am I still holding?
Dude, is this a part of this?
This is a skull, yeah.
Oh my god.
They've got tools and equipment laying all over the place. Why would they go to such a massive effort to make fake stones that actually blend in and look like the real ones?
Because they're not hiding tools, bro.
I read online that there's a temple buried beneath the Sphinx filled with gold, and I'm on a mission to find out.
Who was right, Dr. Zaye or all the conspiracy theories on the internet?
Okay, Jimmy,
Yes, sir.
help me.
Is that an entrance?
Yes.
I cannot believe I'm entering the Sphinx. I want to see what that temple's through. I'm not sure I'm gonna fit.
You will.
Whoa! This is cool. Okay, let's see if there's any hidden gold. Zaye, I just see an empty hole.
Then I need you to give a statement right now. I need a statement.
All right, Zahe, there's nothing inside the Sphinx.
Jimmy, we are going to make history.
And what better way to make history than by leaving a message for the future?
How long do you think this paper will survive down here?
Thousands of years.
Really?
We'll dig it now.
With the letter, can I bury this gold swarm?
Perfect.
This is worth $10,000.
Really? This is for the future.
Yo.
And I guess the internet conspiracy theories are right, because the Sphinx definitely has gold in it now, thanks to the rarest swarm in the entire world.
Guys, I'm trusting you not to steal this gold.
Zahi went back and stole the gold.
I can't believe this guy's in charge of the pyramids.
Zahi is just one in the long line of many people who have been tasked with maintaining this mainstream narrative. For over 100 years, there's been rumors of an Egyptian mafia controlling the flow of information regarding Egypt's past. One account goes all the way back to the 1830s, only a few years after the Sphinx was even dug out of the ground, where a team of French engineers was exploring the grounds around the Sphinx and had apparently discovered a doorway leading underground. Shortly after this, they were confronted by shadowy figures which forced them to stop their research altogether. And today, if you visit the Sphinx, you'll see that the ground around the Sphinx is largely flat bedrock, except for directly between the two front paws of the Sphinx, where floorboards have been placed over what seems to be tiles.
Why didn't they let them look under those boards?
They've been covering it up for years, bro.
On February 16, 1923, archaeologists discovered the tomb of the pharaoh King Tut. Word of this monumental discovery spread like wildfire and led to a surge of Egyptologists and treasure hunters descending into Egypt. One of these researchers was Hamilton M. Wright, who led a massive decade-long clearing project in the Giza Plateau that ended in 1935 when they found something that would shock the world: a large, underground, ancient subway system. Here's what Wright said: "We have discovered a subway used by the ancient Egyptians 5,000 years ago. It passes beneath the causeway leading between the second pyramid and the Sphinx. From the subway, we have unearthed a series of shafts leading down more than 125 feet with roomy courts and side chambers." This discovery caused a lot of articles be published by the mainstream news and academic journals. Until later that same year, Egyptian authorities put a gag order on any stories referring to underground tunnels in Egypt. Then suddenly, the story disappeared, leading to the question, was there any legitimacy to these claims? In the 5th century BC, Greek historian Herodotus wrote about a journey he took to Egypt where a priest showed him a mysterious underground labyrinth, saying, "It is hard to believe this was made by man. Near the corner where the labyrinth ends, there's a pyramid, 240 feet in height, with carved figures of animals on it, and an underground passage by which it can be entered. I was told that these underground chambers connect this pyramid with the pyramids at Memphis." That Memphis he was referring to is known today as the Giza Plateau. 800 years later, Syrian philosopher Iamblichus wrote about an underground tunnel system which could be accessed through the body of the Sphinx. As he said, in the belly of the Sphinx were cut-out galleries leading to the subterranean part of the Great Pyramid. These galleries were so artfully crisscrossed that, in setting forth without a guide, one inevitably returned to the starting point.
We should do a full episode on the Sphinx.
Zahi will get it taken down, bro.
In 1991, American Egyptologist and geologist Robert Shaw conducted a series of studies taking seismic surveys around the Sphinx. The results of these studies were so groundbreaking that an hour-long NBC documentary called The Mystery of the Sphinx was created and watched by more than 30 million people on primetime television. In the documentary, West and Shaw presented their findings from studying the erosion patterns on the walls around the Sphinx.
When you look at the Sphinx with a geological eye, this was not weathered by wind and sand.
Weston Schock noted the erosion patterns look nothing like sand and wind erosion, but are actually identical to extreme water erosion.
Here you see all these joints. You don't see the same type of joints in the wind-induced weathering. This is a textbook example of what happens to a limestone wall when you have rains beating down on it for thousands of years.
So how on earth could there be this much water erosion around the Sphinx when the area has been the Sahara Desert for the last 5,000 years? Given the level of erosion that exists, the Sphinx must date back to a time when the area was not the Sahara Desert, but was actually very wet with heavy water precipitation.
Either this was a weird geological anomaly, or the Sphinx might go back to an earlier period.
And the last time conditions fit that criteria was around the end of the last ice age 12,000 years ago.
What we had ending the last ice age was huge climatic changes, which put a lot of moisture into the air, which came down as precipitation with huge thunderstorms, etc. And I think a lot of the erosion that we still see on the walls of the Sphinx enclosure go back to that period.
We should have given these guys full access to the pyramids.
Zahi banned them, bro.
When Weston Schock revealed these findings in their documentary and word of an undiscovered room under the Sphinx started to spread, the Egyptian authorities immediately banned them from continuing their research altogether. And the man responsible for getting them banned was this guy, Zahi Hawass.
I'm Zahi Hawass.
When I do archaeology, you listen to me. Shut up! I don't want anyone to talk, or I will leave.
His official title is the Minister of Antiquities, but that basically just means that he's the spokesperson for what we're supposed to accept the history of ancient Egypt is. And in his words, Weston Schock's research was nothing more than American hallucinations. This next part I can't even make up. In 1996, a year after banning John Anthony West and Robert Schock from studying the Sphinx, a new $10 million project for digging the ground around the Sphinx was approved by the Egyptian government and was led by none other than Zahi Hawass himself. And to build up some hype around the project, they released a teaser video with the star Zahi Hawass entering tunnels under the Sphinx with not one mention of these American hallucinations. And the video showed Hawass entering the Sphinx through a hole which led down into an underground tunnel. And once inside, Hawass joyfully exclaimed on camera, "Even Indiana Jones will never dream to be here. Can you believe it? We are now inside the Sphinx in this tunnel. No one really knows what's inside this tunnel, but we're going to open it for the first time." And this is where the teaser ends, leaving many to wonder, what the heck did they find in that tunnel?
This Zahi guy's shady as fuck. There's a video of him in the tunnel.
They shut the whole project down, bro.
2 years after the project began, Hawass again reversed his position as he abruptly shut down the project and became adamant that there was absolutely nothing under the Sphinx.
Nothing is hidden underneath the Sphinx. What you believe? It's nonsense.
Going so far to even deny the existence of holes that go into the Sphinx altogether, which is kind of crazy because it's actually well documented that there are holes going into the Sphinx, like this hole on top of the head, which is currently sealed shut with concrete, or this hole covered by a block with a tunnel clearly leading under the Sphinx, and this hole on the back, which Zahi himself is on video looking down into. But when asked about these chambers, all he says is, "We already looked and there's nothing down there."
This is fucking bollocks.
Mr. Beast's girlfriend found more than just fake stones, bro.
Below lies the king's chamber. This chamber is a perfect rectangular room built from massive granite blocks, each weighing around 50 to 80 tons, which were somehow transported from over 500 miles away.
I don't believe everything the kings want to tell us because they all want to make themselves glorious.
Now, nobody was actually found buried in the sarcophagus specifically. But if there was, this entire room would have been filled with treasures and tools. Among my own tools is a UV flashlight that can detect certain substances which are normally invisible to the human eye. I also brought an EMF reader, which is a device that measures electromagnetic fields. Nikola Tesla realized that the Great Pyramid of Giza is aligned with Earth's electromagnetic field, specifically at a latitude of about 30 degrees north. He believed that pyramid-like structures might focus or even direct energy. As I was walking past this mysterious hole in the wall, my EMF reader started going crazy. With no visible sources of electricity nearby, I decided to get some better equipment. So
my scan's a full radio spectrum, right? So you're probably picking up on some of this.
But honestly, it's not too crazy. But given the stone that we're in, it should be a little lower.
Do some looking.
So why isn't it's not going off in there?
I don't know.
See, dude.
His head is strong.
It's incredibly strong. Did you see that?
Yeah.
I can't really explain why this happened, but whatever is inside this hole definitely piqued my curiosity.
Yeah, that's interesting, but I'd have rather seen him take an expert with him.
He tried to take Joe Rogan.
Imagine if I did a podcast with Joe Rogan on top of the pyramid.
Okay, so that was gonna be my segue. Is Joe is like complete, like he has done deep dives on how the pyramids were built, and how it's just fucking impossible to move those big ass pieces of limestone.
I know Joe has to be.
He's like, I got lost in that rabbit hole too.
Wait, well, here I'll show you what he said. We've been talking about it. Where is he? Right here.
It's actually fucking impossible. Like I think about it, like humanly, like
I told him to have the pyramids locked in December 20th, and he said, I'm thinking about it. I'll let you know if I can swing the dates.
Dude, you guys should absolutely do it. Like, absolutely.
Oh yeah, I think that'd be amazing.
That would be fucking
Now
dope.
imagine on top of the pyramid.
What the fuck? Why didn't that happen?
Zahi wouldn't let him, bro. He won't let Graham Hancock there either.
My goodness, if you can make Göbekli Tepe, you can make the Sphinx.
And due to the fact that Göbekli Tepe proves the existence of an advanced ancient civilization capable of creating monoliths, this site has become the smoking gun evidence that the Sphinx likely is much older than we've been led to believe. And the dates when both of these sites were likely created lines up perfectly with the end of the last ice age.
That is the date work starts at Göbekli Tepe, and precisely the date Plato gives for the destruction of Atlantis. So if Plato made it up, it's really weird that he picked a date that precisely coincides with the latest geological evidence on cataclysmic sea level rise at the end of the Ice Age.
Zahi Hawass, which is exactly what happened on April 15th, 2015, when Zahi was invited to participate in a prearranged academic debate with Graham Hancock, who's the author of the book Fingerprints of the Gods, which first popularized Göbekli Tepe. The room would be full of academics and Egyptologists, and both Zahi and Graham would get an hour to present uninterrupted before opening it up to audience Q&A.
What happened?
He got roasted, bro.
Negotiations took place off stage, and finally Zahi agreed to give his talk and answer questions from the audience, but he refused to see my talk or engage in any debate with me.
Nope. Nope.
What Graham didn't mention, though, is what happened during the Q&A portion of Zahi's talk, when the lady in the audience, who was unaware of what transpired before the debate, innocently asked him a question about his thoughts on the recent findings of Göbekli Tepe.
Do you have a position on what impact, if any, Göbekli Tepe has had?
To which he responded by acting as if he'd never heard of Göbekli Tepe at all.
Or maybe Ray explain?
At this moment, it kind of got awkward, so Graham started to chime in and add clarification to why Göbekli Tepe may be a relevant question to ask. And Zahi's response? But pay attention to his word choice. He says phrases like, I don't think, and in my opinion. And let me ask you, since when has science ever been based on opinion?
I don't know. This is yours.
And before even finishing his thought, he gets someone else to try to finish his answer as he retreats to the back of the room and sits down. Now, I'm no body language expert, but why would one simple question cause a man to get so flustered that he has to retreat to the back of the room and take a seat as he nervously wipes sweat off of his face?
This guy's a fucking clown.
Go check out our episode on Göbekli Tepe.
This tunnel kept going for hundreds of feet, but after almost an hour struggling through these narrow passageways, my knees.
Oh, Jimmy, this feels like we're buried alive.
We finally made it to the bottom. Whoa, I can stand. Rami, is it normal to be lightheaded?
We just crawled down over 300 feet.
I have bad knees that hurt. Whoa, this is pretty huge.
When we first discovered this, we came into here for this massive chamber and nothing was found.
Why was it empty?
It's another decoy.
They went through all this effort just to create a decoy chamber.
Correct, which makes you wonder.
Is that chamber we found the real chamber?
Is it also a decoy?
Which would imply that Khufu's body could still be in here, somewhere in the pyramid, proving that the pyramids were built as tombs for the kings of Egypt.
It's a bit of an elaborate tomb.
It's not a tomb, bro.
When you look at the exact location of the Great Pyramid, you'll find that it actually sits at the geodesic center of all landmass on planet Earth, meaning that if you drew imaginary lines out of the side of the Great Pyramid that went all the way around the globe, those lines would touch more land than it would if the pyramid had been built at any other point on the planet. And that's not all. The Great Pyramid is also perfectly aligned to magnetic true north, with an accuracy of 3/60ths of 1 degree of latitude and longitude. That's an accuracy of 99.94%. In fact, it's so closely aligned to true north that we couldn't even tell how accurate it was until the invention of the modern day satellite. And to this day, it's still the most accurately aligned structure on the entire planet. For comparison, the Paris Observatory was built to be aligned to true north, but even with modern day technology, they could only get it to within 6/60ths of 1 degree, making the Great Pyramid twice as accurate. Now keep in mind that the ancient Egyptians were only supposed to have a basic understanding of math, probably no more complex than high school algebra, meaning they were supposed to be completely clueless about things like geometry and trigonometry, and they certainly wouldn't have known about mathematical constants like pi or phi, which were discovered thousands of years after the Great Pyramid was built. Yet both of these constants are seamlessly weaved into the structure's design. For example, pi is the ratio that explains the relationship of a circle's circumference to its radius. And if you made an imaginary circle that circumference was the same length as the perimeter of the Great Pyramid, the radius of that circle would equal the exact height of the Great Pyramid. And phi, known today as the golden ratio or Fibonacci sequence because it's responsible for the formation of life itself, from the human embryo all the way up to the formation of galaxies. Well, if you took the surface area of all 4 sides of the Great Pyramid and divided it by the surface area of the base, that gives you the number 1.618, or the golden ratio itself. And if your mind's not already spinning, if you look at the exact coordinates of where the pyramid is on a map, you'll get the number 29.9792458 degrees north. Ironically, this number is the exact same number as the speed of light when measured in meters per second, which is kind of crazy because the speed of light wasn't discovered until the 1600s. Surely, these couldn't all be a coincidence, right? Let's keep going. This pyramid I have in the background of my videos is actually a close representation of what the pyramid is built like. The Great Pyramid itself sits on a base called the socle. This is kind of what the socle might look like, where you got the pyramid sitting on an actual platform like this. Now, this socle is actually found to be so flat for the Great Pyramid that using lasers, we can measure that it's flat to within 1/4 of an inch. A level of precision that we could only reproduce today if we use the very lasers we use to see how flat this thing actually is.
That's insane.
There's a lot we still don't know about the pyramids, bro. But we'll have to save that for next time.
Hold up, so we've got to do the giveaway.
Leave a comment on this video for a chance to win in our next episode. Let's do this, bro.
Bang bang!
Blah, blah.
Pick something from our merch store and we'll send it straight out. We don't do brand sponsors in our content, and that's thanks to all our members and everyone buying the merch.
Members get an extra episode every week, bro.
And as always, thanks for watching. Remember to like, comment and subscribe. And we'll see you in the next one.